Hey everybody, this is Vince Ingenito. I'm sitting here with Miranda Sanchez. What's up, Miranda? How are you, girl? Hello. You're my friend. We're friends, and we sometimes play video games and write about them. And you have written a review on Infinite Crisis, the new DC themed MOBA that launched almost a month ago, and you think it's pretty okay, like extremely okay, and almost good.
Extremely okay, yeah. It's almost good. That's the thing. It's like I keep saying to myself, it's like this could be good if. This could be great if, you know, but it's just not. It's not there.
Yeah. Those are the hardest scores to give out. So let's jump into some of the things you did like, though, right? So what map are we playing on right now?
Right now we're playing on Coast City. So I kind of include this in as like the defining map for Infinite Crisis. It seems the one that they're pushing a lot. In pro games they've had their 5v5 standard 3-lane map, but this one actually just has 2 lanes and a massive jungle. If you can see in the bottom, in the middle, like massive. Yeah, sorry, No, gotta run.
Run away.
Playing MOBAs while talking.
It's hard.
Yeah, think about other ideas.
So yeah, now you definitely said that having the large jungle kind of affects the kind of power structure of the game in terms of the heroes, right? That it's very focused on the assassin type classes, yeah?
Sure. So most of the assassin classes, you know, typically they're very heavy nukers. They have great mobility. And that's just kind of obviously an assassin class.
Lots of damage.
Yeah, it's very typical assassin. The problem is the balance is ridiculously bad.
Okay.
So we have in this bot mode, like the bots aren't very good representations of how people actually play. Like if you didn't see, I just like took out. Like I'm not quite a marksman. I'm like kind of more of like that mage-ish character, but I'm not quite a support. The character that I'm playing is Star Sapphire, but I took out a tank essentially. Bots, guys.
Yeah, well, that's bots for you.
Sure.
But you said in your review very specifically that you really love. It's fun and empowering to play the assassins, but you said they're just extremely overpowered.
They're so overpowered. So of course they're gonna be running around in jungle. Like this is amazing jungle. Like there's a bunch of camps, and then there's a essentially like a nuclear device that launches in the middle. Actually, we're traveling over here now. I don't think he's here yet. But a good point in the game, this little dude appears here, and you and your team can. Here he is.
Oh,
don't want to do that.
Nope.
Don't run away.
Run away.
You can take him on, and you can essentially get this massive weapon that will help you obliterate either a few enemies or a tower or the base. And he spawns every now and then. You can kind of see up here.
Sure, it's your big jungle objective, like Roshan or Baron.
Right.
Or,
Yeah.
You know, it fulfills that.
Sure.
Need. But,
so they're kind of like in charge, like your jungle characters are in charge of monitoring that, like making sure the other enemies aren't going for it. That, and of course, going through the jungle and getting stuff and ganking.
Sure. And the assassins are typically the ones really that do that. So
right. They're like
it's kind of like a big playground for them.
Sure. So it makes sense that you have a lot of junglers. But the problem with the assassin class is that, like I said, they just do too much damage. In late game, they get crazy amounts of health, especially Atomic Wonder Woman. Like I've had so many problems with her in so many games. Like it's not an isolated event, not just like one really skilled player. It's just that character is way overpowered.
Sure. I mean, we play MOBAs. We understand that,
right.
that assassin type characters will carry late game and will get crazy. But what they don't usually have also on top of that is huge survivability and massive sustain.
Sure. So she's also her and a lot of the other assassin characters have, like I said earlier, great mobility. And that's not something you really have in this game. Everyone kind of runs around the same pace. There's not a lot of move speed items.
Yeah, you said there's no boots. There's
no
boots.
standard set of boots. You can probably get like a blink, but move speed is a little bit more difficult to achieve. So when you're going against like an assassin, like even if you're like in a group of 2 or 3, it's really hard to get away from them. It's been countless times where I just get nuked down so fast. I'm just completely frustrated.
And if you don't have an escape, a bespoke ability that's for getting away, there's not a lot of ways to get away from them. That's going to be provided by items.
Yes. There are some things you can get, like these abilities I'm kind of hovering over right now. See, right now I have like this surveillance camera and then this invulnerability. So you change these out, very similar to what you have in League and your summoner abilities. But these are called stolen powers, and I really like these.
Yeah, you had a lot of good things to say about them.
Yes.
They kind of open up the possibilities a lot.
So obviously what I have right here, the surveillance camera, is just a ward. So I put one back over here, and now I have vision there. So it's kind of like
Vision wins games.
Yes, vision is so important. So it's kind of nice to have that. But even cooler is that you have, of course, because this is a superhero game, you actually have superhero stolen powers. So like you can get like super strength, and there's a lot of items in the environment, like this little rock over here that you can pick up and just like throw at people. And there's also one that works as you kind of like ingest whatever item you pick up and you turn it into health. So it's just really cool.
Yeah, that changes a lot of things, and definitely I can see. You mentioned this in your review that you have obstacles in the game, in the map that you kind of, as the match goes, and you get these other stolen powers, or you get these buffs.
Here he goes.
Yep. Oh, look, there's you're Aquaman walking around with an ice cream truck.
Yep.
That's the thing. So yeah, that changes kind of the flow of battle a little bit as time goes on.
Right, and also some of these stolen powers can help you, especially the super strength, get to certain areas that you may not have been able to get to. Like you may have to walk around an entire area in the jungle. But if you have a stolen power to pick up a truck that's blocking your way, then you don't have to worry about that. Yes. So then you can get faster. So it's another cool point of team building, and where you have to kind of focus on like, hey, who's going to have this power? Does anybody have super strength? Does anybody have...
Right, how are we going to open up this path at this stage in the game? Whose job is that going to be?
Right.
Cool.
Cool.
I think something we really like too, I think we both agree, this is a pretty darn good-looking game.
Yeah, obviously it has that very comic feel to it, which is
Sure.
appropriate because these are, DC game.
But those production values are totally there.
Yeah, and voice acting is amazing, of course. They've got a lot of the characters back from, like, very iconic cartoons and stuff, so you're not going to be missing out on those of, like, saying, oh, this guy sounds weird. Except for some of the other ones, like right here we have Gaslight Batman, so you're not going to get your standard Bruce Wayne voice. It's a different dude. He sounds British. A big kind of like theme in this, or the lore, is that, see, look how fast she is.
Wow.
It's like, let's just walk up to her. I mean, even though she's really underpowered because she's a bot, but anyway, yeah, the production is just solid. Like, there's like really beautiful cutscenes that they have whenever they're introducing a new map. There's also a little active tutorial you can always have on. That'll be like, hey, you should make sure you're getting last hits so you can get the most, money as possible. Or, hey, you should maybe go capture these little points over here.
I love all the little details that I'm seeing in terms of the abilities and the spells, even like little char marks that are left on the, on the
Right.
road. There's a lot more detail here than I like when you watch the game from afar, even probably maybe even on this video. It's hard to see how much detail there actually is, but once you're in front of it, like it's a surprising amount of fidelity for a free-to-play game.
Absolutely, I love that the environment is, you can just blow it up. Certain parts, you put out an attack and like parts of a building around you will like just crumble.
So why don't we get finally into the really big thing that really bothers you about this game, though, is how difficult it is to really get the full experience of it. They've got these modes there, but so many of them are difficult to even get access to, and why is that?
So this is a fairly new game, and as MOBAs go, you kind of understand that there's a low player population just because that's how things happen with new games. You're not going to have a ton of people, so queues generally end up being a little bit longer. To prevent that, the developers close off most of the queues for this. So whenever you go into a player versus player match and you want to like queue up with live people instead of bots, you can only play Coast City right now, unless it's like a weekend event or something. Like I managed to catch the 1v1, but that was it. And that's not usually a problem. Like it's understandable. I might die here.
Yeah, like you said, there's
No,
not much of
not.
a way to get away.
Yes. Let me just.
Unless they're dumb.
Yeah, she's just gonna go after the other person. Yeah, so there's the only other way you can play these other maps, because they have like the typical 5v5 3-lane map. We can actually go check them out here in a second since this game just ended.
Cool, yeah, let's see it. So yeah, here are the modes that you were talking about. The other stuff you could do maybe
if you're lucky.
Yeah.
So this is Coast City, the one we were just playing, but you can play as bots. The only other bot mode in this game is a 1v1 bot mode, and it's not actually even the same. See, there's like a lot of modes, which is cool, as this mode. So instead of just being push through the lane and kill like the objective,
right, the typical mode gameplay.
The 1v1 here is actually coin-based one. So based on how much money you gather during the game, so you want to get last hits, you want to destroy a tower if you can, is how you attack the other person's like health, like their overall health, which is weird. I mean, that's cool, but it's not the same as the bot mode.
Right. No, it's
so like when I went in, I was like, wait, what? What's happening?
So yeah, there's a big discrepancy there. It seems like having bots would fix so many of these problems,
right?
And allow you to really play these modes.
So you can play these modes right now, but if you want to, you have to do a custom game. And to see this custom screen is cool, but you must have 4 people to start. So I have to go out and find a bunch of people, and if I don't have tons of friends playing, well, then I'm not going to get to play this mode. I don't get to check this out. And you don't even get to play custom, leave it board. You don't even get to play like the standard, 3v3. I mean, 3 lanes versus 5v5. Getting them mixed up. But yeah,
you
don't even get to play
that.
the standard mode. Yeah, like that's just something that you can't access. And if you only queue with 4 people, so you have 2 people on each team, the rest of the slots don't fill with bots. It's just you against those other 2 people.
That's pretty rough.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm sure it'll just fill with bots. There was no option, and it's like, oh, it doesn't. So I ended up playing this with 4 people, and it's like supposed to be for a 10 people map. So it's just
and that's just not optimal.
Yeah,
not a good experience.
So it has some issues, and it'll improve over time, I'm sure. But just right now, it's crazily inaccessible for certain modes.
Sure.
That don't really make sense.
Okay, so overall, you felt like this game was extremely okay, almost good, but not
super
quite
okay.
there.
Yeah.
Not into the 7s.
Almost good. It was almost there.
almost made it. But there was a lot that you did like here, so there's certainly some people you could probably recommend it to in terms of the actual content being solid.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fun to play. Looks great. Just hopefully we can get more of the game sometime soon.
Yep, when there's more either when there's more players on, which hopefully happens, or at very least until they let us have bots and more open queues.
Sure.
Cool. Well, Miranda, thank you so much for showing us Infinite Crisis. And for more on Infinite Crisis and MOBAs in general, keep it right here on IGN.